Very good morning to Total 1 My name is Yuen and my number metric is S66177 and I belong to K3. Today I'm going to present the individual assignments for ACT3213, that is cost accounting. So from the question paper, we found that here is the question required, that is A, B, C, D, E, and F. So we will solve one by one. So first is the A. Compute the plant-wide predetermined overhead rate for April 2023. To compute the predetermined overhead rate, we need to know the basic. From the question paper here, we know that the basic is the labor hours, and the company estimate that it would incur 256,000 in factory overhead costs and 60,000 direct labor hours. From the information given, we can find the predetermined overhead rate by using the 256,000 divided by 16,000 hours, and we will get the answers, that is 16 ringgit per direct labor hour. Next is the question B. Compute overhead apply for job Y12, job D20, and job E33. First, we need to know the direct labor hours to solve the questions. But the question paper only show that the total direct labor cost and the direct labor cost, that is 20 hours. So we can use the information given to find the direct labor hour. So we can use the total direct labor cost for job Y12, job D20, and job E33 divided by the 20 ringgit per hours to find the direct labor hour. So for the job Y12, we can find that 611 direct labor hour, and the job D20, we can find that 403 direct labor hour, and job E33, we can find that the 182 direct labor hour. So to find the overhead apply, we can use the direct labor hour that we found times the predetermined overhead rate, that is 16 ringgit. So for the job Y12, we can find the answer is 9,776 ringgit Malaysia, and job D20, we can find the answer is 6,448. And from the job E33, we can find that the answer is 2,912. So the total overhead applied is 90,136. Next, we are going to compute the factory overhead cost for the month. So to calculate the actual factory overhead costs, we need to include the indirect material, indirect labor, depreciation, manufacturing assets, factory utility expenses, and other factory overhead expense. So the indirect materials can be found from here, that is 6,000, and indirect labor can be found from here, that is 5,000, and depreciations, manufacturing assets, that is 4,000, and factory utility cost, that is 3,600, and other factory overhead cost, that is 3,200. So we can find the total factory overhead cost, that is 21,800 by adding all of the overhead costs. Next is question D. Compute the under or over applied manufacturing overhead for the month. So we can find the actual overhead cost and applied overhead cost from the answer B and C. The applied overhead cost can be found from the answer B, that's here, and the actual overhead cost can be found from the answer C, that is here. So to calculate the under applied overhead cost, we can use the actual overhead cost minus applied overhead cost. That is 2,664 ringgit Malaysia. So we can conclude the overhead cost is under applied because the actual overhead cost is more than the applied overhead cost. Next, we are going to compute the cost of goods manufactured for the month ended 30 April 2023. To calculate the cost of goods manufactured, we need to use the work in process inventory for the beginning, plus direct material cost, plus direct labor cost, plus factory overhead cost, minus work in process inventory for the ending. So we can get the cost of goods manufactured. The work in process inventory for the beginning can be found from here. There is 21,000, and the direct material cost can be found from here. There is 180,000 of material for productions and minus the 6,000. So we can find that the answer is 174,000, and the direct labor cost can be found from the here. That's adding all of the job. So the answer is 23,920. And the factory overhead cost, we will use the actual overhead cost that is 21,800. And lastly, we will minus the work in process inventory for the ending. That is 149,060 ringgit. That is here. Okay. So the answer of the cost of good manufacture is 91,660. Lastly is the question F. Prepare income statement for RMC the month ended 30 April 2023 if the under or over applied overhead is adjusted to cost of goods sold. So here is the income statement. Sales. You can find the sales from here. That is 120,000. And less the cost of goods sold, that is include the finished goods inventory for the beginning, cost of goods manufactured, and finished goods inventory for the ending. So we will see one by one. Okay. The finished good inventory for the beginning is 108,000, and the cost of good manufacture we can find from here. The answer E. So we will get the cost of finished goods available for sales. That is finished goods inventory for the beginning plus cost of goods manufacture. Then we will minus the finished goods inventory for the ending. That is 62,000, and we will get the cost of goods sold. That is 137,660. And here is the under applied overhead cost. But since we have under applied overhead cost, so we will need to make adjustments to increase our cost of goods sold. And so we will minus it in here. That is 2,664. So we will use the sales to minus the cost of goods sold and minus the adjustment. So we will get the gross loss, that is 20,324. After this, we will find the operating expenses. There's selling and administrative salaries expenses that we found from here. There is 12,000, and depreciation expenses, selling and administrative assets, that is 3,000, and lastly is the advertising expenses, that is 7,000, and the total up is 22,000. So we will find the net loss is 42,324 ringgit Malaysia. So that's all for my solutions and my presentations. Okay, thank you.